I was talking to some very senior people recently from somewhere who were saying, the Congolese are saying we steal their quota, we steal their gold. And then I asked them one question. There was many leaders. I said, there is something I know. Some people come from Congo, whether they smuggle or go through the right channels, they bring minerals, but most of it goes through here, does not stay here. It goes to Dubai, goes to Brussels, goes to Tel Aviv, goes to Russia. It used to go to Russia. I don't know whether it still goes there. It goes everywhere. So I was asking them, I said, are you on the list of those who are stealing minerals of Congo? Because these things, they end up with you. For us, we are now, they go through our country. But they are accusing us of stealing Congo's minerals. How about the destination?
Well, it is now official. There is a deal between Rwanda and the DRC that is going to be signed by the end of this week, specifically on the 27th of June, 2025. In this video, I'm going to tell you about that particular deal. Why is it so lucrative for Rwanda and the DRC to sign this deal while we've had so many processes, call it the Nairobi process, the Angola process, the Doha process, that have never worked? For decades, there have been war in Eastern DRC, but this one single deal seems to be lucrative for both the DRC and Rwanda. I'm going to tell you more about that deal that is going to be signed by both of these parties, as well as what is Rwanda gaining from this deal. Right now that we know that Rwanda has been out there saying that they are not involved in what is happening in Eastern DRC, that what is happening in Eastern DRC is only an existential threat to the Rwandan regime. But why is Rwanda now part of the table of solving the solution in Eastern DRC? And why specifically this deal is resonating with Rwanda, and Rwanda has said, yes, it can sit on a table and sign about this deal? What specifically is Rwanda gaining from this deal? Well, this is Bonafide. If you haven't subscribed, kindly subscribe and hit that notification button so that when I release something new on the Eastern DRC crisis, you get notified as soon as possible. The deal that is going to stop hostilities in Eastern DRC is now a reality. We are talking about decades of conflict that has happened in Eastern Congo because of different factions and rebels in different parts of Eastern DRC allied to the DRC and others to Rwanda that are now seemingly having some sense of peace. And it is said that there will be lasting peace in Eastern DRC if this particular deal that is now hosted by the Trump administration is going to be signed by the end of this week. Well, according to a statement that was released by the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, he said that I'm very happy to report that I have arranged, along with Secretary of State Marco Rubio, a wonderful treaty between the Democratic Republic of the Congo and the Republic of Rwanda in their war, which was known for violent bloodshed and death, more so even than most other wars, and has gone for decades. Representatives from Rwanda and the Congo will be in Washington on Monday to sign documents. This is a great day for Africa, and quite frankly, a great day for the world. Well, in that long statement, President Trump went on to say that he is not getting a Nobel Peace Prize for the efforts that he is making to regain world peace in different fronts, even in the Israel-Iran war. Well, that aside, the United States has taken a front lead in making sure that there is a deal between the DRC and Rwanda. But what is this deal about? Of course, at the center of this deal are the minerals in Eastern DRC that are going to be given to, of course, the party that is hosting these talks right now, the United States, which is competing against other world powers in Eastern DRC, that is Russia and China. Previously, we've had a lot of Chinese influence in Eastern DRC. The minerals, most of these minerals, cobalt and other minerals that are found only in Eastern DRC, have been transported mostly to China. But the United States is now taking a front lead in these particular negotiations. And of course, they are going to get a very huge cut when we're talking about the minerals that are going to be mined in Eastern DRC. Of course, the companies that have come up already to propose to mine these minerals in Eastern DRC are American companies, and that is the influence that the United States is already bringing in Eastern DRC. This particular deal promises disarmament and demobilization of the M23 troops in Eastern DRC. According to the statements, as per this deal, there will be a demobilization of the M23, meaning that the M23 will be stripped of its weapons right now in Eastern DRC, and the forces of the M23 will have two options: either to go to the security forces of the nation, that is the FARDC, to serve in the Congolese army, or to totally demobilize and return to civilian life. That is the option that has been given to the M23. And perhaps someone will ask, why is the M23 in all this? Because we're talking about the DRC and Rwanda making a deal. At the middle, we have the M23, of course, the force that is taking a lot of territories in Eastern DRC. The force that is fighting the FARDC is the M23. But we have not yet heard about the M23 having a sit down, because these major powers, the US and other major powers that are involved in solving this conflict, believe that it is Rwanda against the DRC. That is why even the diction that I've read from the President of the United States, he has mentioned that this war is between the DRC and Rwanda. This deal also points to the direction that there has to be a troop withdrawal from Eastern DRC. Of course, they're talking about the RDF, that the RDF has to withdraw from Eastern DRC. There have been investigations by different quarters. They are saying that the Rwanda Defense Forces are in Eastern DRC. They are there assisting the M23. So this deal says that the Rwandan government has to make sure that all Rwandan troops are back within their borders and they are not in Eastern DRC to assist the M23. But one will ask, what will Rwanda be gaining in this deal? Because if at all Rwanda was assisting the M23, then this deal is making Rwanda to be on the back foot, because right now they will not be assisting the M23, meaning that they will not have influence in Eastern DRC. But you'll be surprised to know that Rwanda will gain a lot if this deal actually is signed, because Rwanda has faced a lot of criticism in terms of international legitimacy, and that is something that Rwanda really needs to work on so that it can get back on track. Now, this deal gives Rwanda that needed international legitimacy by making sure that there is a diplomatic reset of Rwanda and making sure that Rwanda is back on the international stage. Of course, the Western states are very important to the development of Rwanda. You cannot say that it will only face East, and that is very important. That is why Rwanda is saying that it will sign this deal, because if it signs this deal, then it will be in good books with the Western allies, with the United States, and that will ensure that Rwanda is back on the diplomatic stage, ensuring that the country will have no stress in terms of sanctions, and it will have the developmental assist from the Western nations. And perhaps something that is also very interesting is that according to this deal, Rwanda will secure legal access to Congolese minerals, especially coltan, gold, and tantalum. Well, many have said that Rwanda has always been very much interested with the minerals from Eastern DRC, that it has been getting these minerals without the consent of the DRC government, without the consent of the international community. Well, this deal will now legalize Rwanda's access to these rare earth minerals that are found in Eastern DRC, and they will now get coltan, gold, and tantalum that will allow the Rwandan economy to grow even further. And one last thing, and perhaps one very important thing that Rwanda is going to get from this deal, is the internal security guarantee that nothing will happen against the Rwandan regime if this deal is signed, because we know that President Kagame has been out there saying that there is an existential threat in Eastern DRC, and that has been the FDLR. They're saying that the FARDC, the DRC government, is supporting the FDLR that wants a change of regime in Rwanda. So with the signing of this deal, Rwanda is going to be assured that the DRC is no longer going to support the FDLR, and that in turn will guarantee the safety and security of the Rwandan government and the Rwandan people, that they will not be facing these so-called existential threats within their borders or even outside their borders. And of course, other perks like getting the support of the Western nation and reduced isolation in the region are going to be benefits that are going to be gotten by Rwanda if this deal is signed. Well, I will continue to keep you informed of the latest of what is happening in Eastern DRC regarding right now this new deal that is going to be signed by Rwanda and DRC, and how the M23 is going to respond to all this because they are left in the middle. What will the M23 do? Will they accept that this deal should go on? What will the leaders of the M23 do? The likes of Corneille Nangaa and Bertrand Bisimwa. What will be their opinions of this particular deal, and where will they go after this deal is signed, after M23 is demobilized? Then what next? Well, I will keep you informed of that. Keep it bona fide.